Toastmasters members as guests. Yeah, this is Bret here. How can I help you? Yeah, Bret, this is old Fred down here in Oakland Township. You know the driveway at the cul-de-sac? I go, yeah, how can I help you, Fred? Well, Bret, I'm having a problem with my driveway again. The paperwork says you have a 4-year warranty. Yeah, I do. Well, Bret, I need you to come back out and look at it. I said, okay, I can do that. I'll be out there probably about a week. And, well, Bret, I have another problem. I'm out of warranty with the caulking. I said, well, that's true. It's been about 3 years. But Bret, you don't understand. I cannot afford this caulking again. I can't squeeze that money out of the wallet one more time, Bret. Could you help me out? I said, well, what do you want me to do, Fred? Well, Bret, could you give me a mulligan? I go, well, what's a mulligan, Bret? Well, that's a gimme and golf, Bret. It's kind of like a freebie. Oh, you want me to come out to your place and do the warranty at no charge, correct? Well, yeah, Bret, that's about the size of it. Could you come on out? And I said, could you come on out there, Bret? And I said, I sure can. So I go out there and take a look at the driveway, of course, and sure enough, the driveway has settled in different spots, and down at the road, the caulking had pulled apart, and like that. So I left him something in the front door for a callback. And we went out there and did the work, and everything looked great, and I get this phone call. Bret, this is old Fred on Oakland Township, you know, the driveway at the cul-de-sac. I go, yeah, Fred, how can I help you? Well, Bret, you didn't do the caulking down at the driveway. It's a big smiley face down there. I said, well, Fred, Bret, I read the paperwork. I know it says that you can't do it because the water's bad down there and the edge of the curb is real bad. And, you know, Bret, I just want you to throw some of that slap of that caulking in the driveway. Because you know when my wife goes down there at the end of the drive to get the old mail, you know how those 6-inch pumps get caught in that joint down there? We don't want her to break an ankle, do we, Bret? Now, do we? Oh, Fred, no, we don't want that to happen. Well, Bret, if you could just come out here and do that, I appreciate it. So I go there and caulk it up nice and pretty for him and her. And at the end of the job, I have noticed that there's like little snakes in the caulking. Well, when the first application is self-leveling caulking, it's nice and smooth. And then I changed the cartridge and put a new caulking into the joint, and I find out that I use a low-flow material. Low flow. Well, in that case, you got like little squiggly marks in the joint. And functionally, it was a great job. But aesthetically, the purpose was not very appropriate for the customer, and I get this call. Bret, this is old Fred. Yeah, I know who you are. You're down by the driveway in Oakland Township. Well, Bret, my neighbor's going to see this too as well. That caulking at the curb there, Bret, you don't understand. It looks terrible. My wife is on my back now, Bret. Could you please come back out and do this? Bret, please. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll come out there and do it. I'll rip it out and put new caulking in, and it'll make you happy. Well, Bret, you're so nice. Customer satisfaction, Bret. I thank you for that, Bret. So I go out there and I caulk the driveway. Spend about an hour and a half caulking it, all nice and proud. It's all done. I sit back and I pause. Whew. No more Fred. And I lay down the old caulking gun, going back to that old car all proud and happy like I did a good job for somebody at no charge. Customer satisfaction, that's me. I come back and the caulking gun blew. And all the caulking started running down the curb. And the first thing I thought is, oh, Bret, this is old Fred at the Oakland County. Yeah, I know who you are. I didn't want to hear that. I just wanted to clean it up. So I rushed and hurry up and cleaned it all up, and I got the old wire brush out and just going at it and scraped my knuckles up at the same time, and got the paper towels out, got the washcloths out. All I could do was get it all nice and cleaned up for old Fred. And after I got it all done, I roped it all off, caution tape it off, nice and pretty for the old, the young man there. And so I get this phone call. Bret, this is old Fred. Yeah, I know, down by the driveway in Oakland Township, right? He goes, yes, Bret, there's a big spot at the end of the driveway. I go, I know I spilled some coffee, but Bret, you didn't tell me about it. You didn't leave me a message. I go, Fred, go to your front door. There's a memo saying I'll be back and I'll remove all that caulking and I'll make sure it takes care of you. I'll make sure it's cleaned up for you, Fred, and everything else, so everything's happy for you. And your neighbors down the street can be proud of you. But, oh, Bret, thank you so much, Bret. Now all those customers down the street, as they walk down to my road down at the cul-de-sac, they can look at that driveway and say, well, Bret Butler did that driveway. Doesn't it look nice and pretty? You know, Bret, I'm going to take good care of you, and I'm going to make sure that you get all those customers down the street and everything else. You know, Bret, I know one more last thing before I go. I know I've been a challenge for you and all, but Bret, you told me that this is not going to last. I said, well, yeah, I told you. That's why I didn't want to do it from the beginning. Well, Bret, I might have to call Andy one more time to do this job. I go, one more time? Well, Bret, it's only going to last about a year and a half. Well, I tell you what, Bret, you're like family now, Bret. You make me feel so happy and everything. And, you know, I'm going to allow you to come back to my house, and, you know, you and I are going to tag team this together. We're going to make this happen, Bret. You know something, Bret? I'm going to hand you that coffee gun, and I'm going to watch you do it so I can take some good notes. So in about 3 years, I might take on that challenge. But, Bret, I want to say thanks for all the hard work that you've done in this job. Thank you so much for customer satisfaction, Bret. And I want to say, have a good day. And I said, Fred, you have a good day. I hope I see you in about a couple of years, Fred. You take care. That's what I experienced with a gentleman just recently, the most unique gentleman I've ever been around in sales in my whole life. But he made me realize, no matter how much of inconvenience he could have been for me or my company, it's about the customer. It's about pleasing the customer every time and going out of your way to make sure that he's happy at all times. And I appreciate your time tonight.